When you make decisions for your company, you look for the no-brainers. And if you have a lot of mailing to do, Stamps.com is the ultimate no-brainer. Mail checks, invoices, documents, and everything you need to keep your business running. Get rates up to 89% off USPS and UPS. And with the mobile app, you can take care of mailing on the go. Make the same no-brainer decisions as over 1 million other businesses with Stamps.com. Sign up at Stamps.com with code PROGRAM for a special offer. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.
We made this.
Right, We Are Starfleet is concluding another season of modern Star Trek with its coverage of Star Trek Prodigy Season 1 here on the We Made This network. My name is Mike Slamer, and with me today to discuss the season finale of Star Trek Prodigy is Craig McKenzie, who I spoke with last week on part 1 of this 2-part finale. Craig, we're closing out. And I heard you tell Ian in a previous episode that Star Trek Prodigy is now your favorite of the modern Trek shows currently airing. Is this still true?
Well, hello. I'm back again for a third stretch in a row on this podcast.
You're killing it.
Yeah, unexpected third stretch. But yes, it is still my favorite of the Star Trek modern shows. And that, inside baseball here, but that conversation with Ian actually happened after I'd seen everything, even though it was the episode before we recorded last week.
So fair enough.
Done it out of order. There's a weird time travel thing. So I couldn't speculate on what was going to happen in the finale with Ian because I already knew. So
fair.
I decided not to pretend that I predicted everything.
What were a few things? We are discussing part 2 of the finale, folks. So at this point, hit pause if you haven't actually watched it, because I have no idea where this conversation is going to go. We're just going to talk about a little bit of everything, maybe a little out of sequence. I don't want you to spoil anything for yourselves. So about 2 minutes into our recording, hit pause and come back once you finished. Craig, following the close of the finale, what were things that you predicted that were right? What were things that you predicted that you may have gotten a little wrong? What did you love about being right, and what did you hate about it?
I'm trying to think what I actually tried to predict before the finale.
Well, we definitely got the Essentia turn, bang on the money.
Yeah, everything will turn out fine, I guess, was a prediction, but is that really a prediction?
Did everything turn out fine?
Largely. I mean, Starfleet didn't get destroyed. The Federation's still there, so that was okay. That was a good ending for everybody.
It was a good ending. That was a good ending. For me personally, I you and I spoke about how the crew was kind of going to get out of this situation, and we kind of theorized about maybe, Chakotay's still out there. Well, he definitely is. We got a new emergency signal that we heard in today's episode.
Yeah.
In the finale episode. We are recording today about the finale episode. So some of those things was true. We lost the prototype protostar, the NX version of the ship, but it seems like it's possible that the other one is still out there. Maybe, or is it the same ship? I don't know. These alternate timelines and time travel always get me a little confused.
Yeah, Chakotay's message comes from the point of they're going to send it through the wormhole.
There you go.
So that hasn't happened for him yet in that alternate timeline. So yeah, the original protostar could still appear.
Still appear. Yes. I personally love this season of Prodigy. Season 1 started off a little wonky. I know a lot of us were talking about how it was just such a departure from a lot of other Star Trek shows that we've had in the past. The animation was kind of new. And it had this this strange, almost fantastical feel to it that a lot of people were like, oh, this doesn't feel like Star Trek. But Rock Talk has a line in this episode where she says, letting a young star become what it's meant to be. And I was thinking about that over the course of watching the episode and thinking about us recording and thinking about previous discussions we've had and previous criticisms, reviews that we've had. And I got to agree that this show is an absolute standout in the Star Trek franchise.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's my favorite. It's the best modern Star Trek show. And we said when we recorded the previous episode, or I said that it does things that the other live action shows do, but better. For example, it uses the legacy character of Janeway better than Picard uses Picard, and the show's named after him. And it does emotional storytelling consistently better than Discovery does.
Yeah.
Maybe Strange New Worlds is better at exploration. But
sure.
Yeah, but I think that's the only one.
Episode 120, Season 1, Episode 20, Supernova, Part 2. It is airing on December 29th, 2022. As the Federation hangs in the balance, the crew must make the ultimate sacrifice to save Starfleet's future. Overall, Craig, we've seen a couple of series finales now. How many tribbles are you given this episode?
Out of how many? Is it out of 10, out of 5?
Well, see, that's the great thing about tribbles. It's infinity.
Well, if it was out of a scale of 10, I would give this comfortably a 9.
A 9! I love it. I think I'm right there with you. Tell me why you're not giving it a 10.
I do have a couple of issues with just nitpicky-ish things that it does, which we'll definitely get to in more detail as we go on. But I also never give anything a 10 because that suggests that what it is utter perfection, and that just doesn't exist.
That is a good philosophy to have. I agree with you. A couple of nitpicky things, and that's why we're here. I don't know if y'all know this, but that's the great thing about podcasting is that we can pick all the little nits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. There's no point in just either gushing or just being routinely negative. It's, there's good to get the nuance in there, good to get the variety of opinion in there, because nothing's an absolute.
Absolutely. Shall we jump into our coverage?
Yes, sir.
All right. The Proto Drive is online for recording. Unlike the Protostar itself, we have an opening shot here when the episode begins of the Protostar amongst tons of starship wreckage. It's kind of a lingering shot. The ship itself seems surrounded. As you recall, in Supernova Part 1, we leave off with this machine construct having taken over Starfleet's armada. It's blowing itself to pieces very slowly, I might add. The phasers are still firing at the opening of this episode. It does seem that everything in the vicinity is completely disabled, but maybe not necessarily, warp core explosion disabled. Everything seems to be kind of sort of intact, Craig. It's kind of strange.
Certainly most of it anyway. I think you see later in the episode there's still some that are armed, and there's ships that will be continuing to arrive as they established in the previous episode.
Yes. It's certainly a dangerous situation that we find ourselves in, and the crew knows it. They're on the bridge of the Protostar. They're staring out. This is it. They don't know what to do. This is the end. All hope seems lost.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a pretty hopeless situation, and it's quite a devastating image, actually, seeing all these Starfleet ships just either heavily damaged or possibly beyond repair in some cases. They might look at them and think, there's no point in us even trying to fix this. Let's just scuttle it. It's done. It's worthless. But like I said last time, this is the equivalent of Wolf 359. It has to be that level of devastation.
It really is. It probably wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the automatic sequence of the distress signal signaling to other vessels to come aid. It only seemed like maybe there were about a dozen vessels to begin with, which still a catastrophe. But now we're in well into the double digit range and climbing immensely. There's a plan here. There has to be a plan. They got to do something. And Dal has an idea. Let's get the ship away. Let's get away. Let's run. There's no coming back. We need to get the ship away from here to mitigate whatever damage can be done. So how do we do that? Rock Talk has the plan. And I love this.
Yeah, they decide to blow it up, and then the getting away is to maybe increase their distance a little bit in case their plan fails. But let's blow it up thing. I'm surprised that wasn't considered earlier, actually. Let's just blow up the ship and hide in a shuttle and get picked up by the Dauntless.
Well, here's a thing that was nitpicky for me, right? The solution is to blow up the protostar and to use the ship's vehicle replicator to manufacture a shuttle that they can stow away on.
Yeah.
Now, Craig, we cannot be the only ones out here who are going to be watching this. We're going to say, why didn't y'all do that like 5 episodes ago?
Yeah, I guess it was looking for a way to do it without destroying the ship. And the situation wasn't desperate enough for that to be their last resort at that point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Could have been. But, you could have just manufactured a little tiny escape pod, stuck a note. I saw you posted that meme in our Discord.
The Love Actually meme, just holding up the placards. And that was after the 18th episode, where they could literally see in the window of the Dauntless.
Just hold up a sign. Yes. Oh man, sometimes you gotta come up with the most simplest solution. So they have to blow up the ship, and the idea is to send the protostar, activate the proto drive, and send it into proto warp. And at the very moment that they destroy it, create like a self-containing field to keep the damage contained in one specific area, as opposed to being this massive blast that would take out everything in 50 million kilometer range.
Yeah, sort of spread it out over a very long distance while they're at warp rather than in one location. It seems like a bit of a, not quite a design flaw, but it seems like a weird thing to build. If this blows up, it's going to cause a massive devastation if it does, if anything goes wrong.
Yeah. And also, I can't help but feel like, blowing a warp drive up while in subspace, and it does create an interspatial rift, which is one thing that, the engineers are always saying, let's not do this, right?
Yeah.
It does seem a little season 4 Star Trek Discovery, where if we're going to blow up subspace, that seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah, but I suppose it's the best bad idea they have at that point. There's not an awful lot of options.
Sometimes a bad plan is better than no plan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the nuclear meltdown thing, isn't it? It's better that we contain the blast here rather than...
Yep. I mean,
rather than just letting this virus spread across the Federation.
Yeah.
But I did wonder why destroying the protostar disrupts the signal, because you would expect it to sort of copy itself as it infects a given ship.
Yeah, that's another thing. Given our understanding of technology and the way that it works, and another hand wave thing where it has to originate from the protostar. So if the protostar had to be kept alive all this time, seems like a little bit of a miss in terms of the plot.
Yeah. It's a bit like in the Avengers, isn't it, where they destroy the mothership and just all the aliens keel over and die. Well, that solves that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the same thing happened in Independence Day, so we've got some precedent. We are treated to a nice sequence here where the music starts to swell and you have all the characters starting to prep for abandoning the ship.
Yeah, I really liked that, and especially Jankum being really upset that the ship was going to be blowing up, because as an engineer, he'd put a lot of love into it. He'd put a lot of work into maintaining the systems.
He really did.
Yeah, so it was upsetting him from that point of view. But also beneath that surface, it's their home. It's a place that they've called home. It's a place they felt like they belong for such a long time. So it's a loss. It's a massive loss for them because now they don't have those surroundings.
Yeah, and the whole time they've been on this ship, they have been trying to get back to Starfleet. They've been trying to make it to the Federation. They want to join. They see the promise of the Federation. They all feel as though they have no place where they belong in the universe except for here. And now they have to give that up.
Yeah, for the greater good. So
for the greater good.
Yeah, so it shows that they have learned a lot, and they have learned to internalize those Starfleet values, because it is about making that sacrifice, giving up what you want for the, for the greater good, for the benefit of others, the needs of the many type.
The needs of the
mantra.
many outweigh the needs of the few. And the big sacrifice moment here comes from hologram Janeway. It's said, during the plan that they're planning to escape the protostar and how they're going to do this. And Dal agrees to stay behind. He's the captain. He's going to go down with the ship. He can't join Starfleet because he's an augment, and it's his time to take this on. Good character development. He's ready. He knows who he is. And he's interrupted by hologram Janeway, who says, I can stay behind. You can transfer your command codes to me. You did it before. We can copy my program onto an isolinear chip. Hey-oh, shout out isolinear chip. And take it with you. And I'll be in two places at once. And then, of course,
when you make decisions for your company, you look for the no-brainers. And if you have a lot of mailing to do, Stamps.com is the ultimate no-brainer. Mail checks, invoices, documents, and everything you need to keep your business running. Get rates up to 89% off USPS and UPS. And with the mobile app, you can take care of mailing on the go. Make the same no-brainer decisions as over 1 million other businesses with Stamps.com. Sign up at Stamps.com with code PROGRAM for a special offer. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM. When you make decisions for your company, you always look for the no-brainers. And if you have a lot of mailing and shipping to do, Stamps.com is the ultimate no-brainer. It streamlines your process to make your business more efficient, which makes you less busy. Mail checks, invoices, legal documents, books, and everything you need to keep your business running with Stamps.com. Seamlessly connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart if you sell online. Schedule package pickups through the dashboard and automatically see your cheapest and fastest shipping options from different carriers, with rates up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. And with the Stamps.com mobile app, you can take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are, even on the go. Make the same no-brainer decision as over 1 million other business decision makers with Stamps.com. Sign up at Stamps.com with code PROGRAM for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.
As they are making these preparations, hologram Janeway finds that her program has grown. It no longer can fit on an isolinear chip. We're going to need a gel pack, but we don't have any gel packs. So it's a sad moment where hologram Janeway realizes that she will not be joining them on the rest of their journey.
Yeah, that was an impressive sacrifice there, and they did it really well, because there's always this question around these artificial beings that you get in Star Trek, do they have a soul question that keeps coming up. And with Data, it was, he had a soul as far as everybody else is concerned. But obviously you never really know. And the same with the Doctor on Voyager. So Janeway is a bit like that. She's grown and evolved because of her interactions with those children on the protostar. And her death feels like a death, but also the fact that she can copy herself, it brings up this other existential question. It's, well, the copy isn't this one, is it? It's a copy. It's not the original.
The ship of Theseus, yes.
Yeah. But also one thing I wondered was, we saw the Doctor in Voyager just leaving stuff behind when he was going to Earth to save Dr. Zimmerman, where Sivan was like, right, you're not getting your singing subroutines or whatever. We can't fit you on the data stream. So I wonder if the option was, maybe I'll just delete some stuff and get it back later. I'll just relearn some of this stuff.
It does beg the question, can you have your program split into parts and use multiple isolinear chips.
Yeah.
But then
something
again,
is-
we had a time constraint. You know, it was like there was no time to think about these things. It was now or never. That's how
just replicate a bigger USB stick, surely.
Yeah, you know, like the 32 gig ain't gonna work. You get the 64.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, listen, lots of long, loving shots of the protostar, lots of wonderful, swelling orchestral music. You know, I love the score in this show. It always fits. There's no like major over emotional beats that are constantly being thrown at you. So when it hits in this show, it's very effective.
Yeah, what's it? Nami Melomad, who composes the music, does a really good job. Luke interviewed her. That interview can still be found on Rarely Going, that feed that's on there. But she composes the music for the show. Michael Giacchino did the main theme. And she's sort of his understudy, or learned from him in some ways at different points.
Yes, it's the music really works here. And once you have the crew off on the shuttle, the little lifeboat, Protostar jumps, right? And then it's gone. And in its wake, it leaves a beautiful rainbow. The silence that followed that music, it's an impressive display of how sound and music affect your emotions. Because in that moment, when the silence happens, that you realize there is no coming back for Hologram Janeway. The ship is gone. She is gone. And you feel in that moment what the characters on screen feel, the emptiness.
Yeah, it's really well done. And it's especially notable because these episodes are, 24 minutes long, and probably 22 minutes long if you take out the credits and things. But so 10 seconds of a deep breath is a long time. That's a sizable-ish percentage of the show. So the fact that they have the confidence to just we'll sit with this for, I don't know, I didn't time it, but we'll say 10 seconds, to just sit with it for that period of time is quite a brave choice for such a short show, because it's saying this period of time is worth spending this on rather than something else. Yeah,
it felt, the silence was deafening. Let's put it that way. We have, of course, you know, we come back to the shuttle, the little lifeboat where the crew is, and they're upset, naturally. So they try to activate the isolinear chip to get Hologram Janeway back. And of course, we have a tiny Janeway, a pre-recorded message. This is Kate Mulgrew at her best. This is Captain Janeway at her best. It is a wonderful speech, inspiring, emotional, and it really lands in a big way.
Yeah, I took down some quotes from it where she says, "Your potential is infinite." That's a callback to near the start of the show where she said that the crew had potential. As a training program, it would be baked in to be very supportive and optimistic and, you know, and encouraging. So that makes sense. But also she's grown and she really means that they have a great deal of potential. And ending the speech with "Go boldly" was a nice touch as well.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That final, "Now go boldly." Oh man, I was emotionally compromised.
And they had the quite a meditative version of the fanfare, the Star Trek fanfare, to close out the speech as well, to add that impact, which, again, better than when they used it in Picard, where they just used it every 2 minutes to tell you that this moment was important, and it's not. But in this case, it's very important.
Music is really done well here, and like you've alluded to, the show is shorter in duration, 22 minutes when you remove all the credits, right? You know, maybe even shorter. And it kind of runs in the realm of these tightly knit, tightly woven stories that these half-hour shows are demanding of. They have to be tight knit. So you can only spend time with things that are actually relevant. You don't have all the fluff that, you know, a 45-minute to an hour long show might contain. So the producers, the writers, the directors, everyone involved in the creation of Star Trek Prodigy is highly aware of what they are doing on screen. And it is so well done that this, I got to tell you, Craig, it's also my favorite modern Trek series of this era because of this fact.
Yeah, it's doing everything it needs to do brilliantly.
So then we have a time jump. I love time jumps, and I also hate them. It's a whole month later, and we're back at Starfleet Academy. I have a side note here. I love that. I love that Star Trek takes place a lot at Starfleet Academy and not necessarily like Starbase. You know, plenty of the movies and you know, like some of the shows, they've always gone back to, you know, the offices and Starbases. Sure, of course. But I love that Starfleet Academy is a thing because it puts this franchise, the series, in the same vein, the same kind of vibe and charactership of like a series like X-Men or Harry Potter, where you showcase talents of students. It's about the students. It's about learning. It's about coming together. And it has that same trait. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, plus that's the objective of our characters, right? To make it to Starfleet Academy.
Exactly.
So when they get there, that's the first place they go, and that's them achieved something. The fact that it takes them a month in their little dinky shuttle is something I have questions about. Was there a toilet in there? Is that part of the last minute vehicle replication stuff?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to be there when they open the cockpit of that shuttle, because that would be rife after a month of drifting through space.
You just imagine 4 weeks without a replicator. Oh boy. Yeah, they didn't have time for seats or seatbelts, according to Rock. So that was a tricky move. But yeah, we have the opening sequence here at Starfleet Academy. As discussed earlier in the episode, yes, an interspatial rift has appeared as a result of the protostar's destruction, and an alternate timeline appears to have been made available through a wormhole. I love this scene because, again, you get some great dialogue and some great Treknobabble again. And Trek is, of course, well known for this. You've got Admiral Janeway, it looks like Commander Tarsus, and a Vulcan science officer all discussing the ramifications of this. What does it mean? Yes, we have a new distress signal from this wormhole from Chakotay. And Janeway says she's heard it before, but this is a new one.
Yeah. So it's a separate rift that's been created, which makes me wonder, the other rift, is that still there? In which case, have we got two stranded Chakotays in alternate timelines?
Okay. Now there are two of them? This is getting...
Essentially. I think they'll probably just forget about the first rift and focus on this one. But it entered my head while I was watching it. Hang on. So there's two displaced Chakotays. But Star Trek's always been about that when it comes to time travel shenanigans or whatever. They never seem to worry about replacing a dead character with their duplicate that's there because of time shenanigans, like O'Brien, for example.
Right.
Where the original O'Brien is killed and the one that's from that alternate future that he went to comes back. Or Harry Kim, when they get duplicated.
Yep. And we just pick up right where we left off, essentially.
Yeah, even though the original person is dead, but we're just not going to worry about that.
We're not going to worry about it. Yeah, I like how Lower Decks kind of address that. It's like, we just don't talk about it. We just don't talk about it. You don't want to know.
Yeah, it's O'Brien. It's fine. It's only the dead one that has to worry.
Yep. I love the animation of the room, you know, the space that they're in, the environments that are drawn to showcase kind of where we are. It's really good world building. The science on screen is really inspiring too, where you have the holographic imagery of the rift being overlaid on the original rift and showing like, yes, this is essentially the same thing. It's at two different time points. It's all really good world building. And what it is doing is it's setting us up for season 2.
Yeah.
All that's happening in this scene is going to be relevant in the next season. So I was looking at it, I was paying attention, I was trying to draw parallels between things. It looks like they're keeping things pretty close to the vest. I'm really curious to see how this story is going to play out. And of course, we have that in our final scene where the next step is going to happen and get us excited for the next season. But before that happens, while they're discussing all this, the Protostar crew arrives in their lifeboat shuttle, and it's an exciting moment. We pan out of Starfleet Academy, and we see that their lifeboat shuttle has literally crashed in the Bay of San Francisco, and they're awaiting rescue. We've got this wonderful shot of Starfleet rescue ships coming in and kind of circling, just like rescue helicopters and news helicopters and fire boats and everything come to the East River to save, the guy who went kayaking a little bit too early in the morning and kind of capsized. And now there's an outsized rescue response.
Yeah.
They're all bored. They don't have anything to do.
Yeah. Well, it was before that as well, where I forget who it was, but they said something that was kind of insulting about the Protostar crew, and Janeway just bites back and says, in their absence and in my presence, they get our respect. Really loved that, the way she just went to bat for them.
Yes. It is. Oh, man. I feel like Ashley should be on right now to say the catchphrase, Janeway is my captain, but I'm gonna borrow that one, Ashley. Sorry. That was great. It was a great moment. You're absolutely right. And we see that again in the following sequence, where the crew is being brought to task in front of a committee to discuss a little bit of everything. It was kind of an expositional, maybe like a judicial kind of a thing, but at the same time, it was an academic entry process. A little confusing, but essentially they're in front of this committee to discuss their entry into Starfleet Academy, and there are, the gentlemen up on the dais are basically breaking down the laundry list of crimes against the Federation.
It was a bit like in Star Trek 4, where Kirk was standing in front of Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise were standing in front of the board being told everything they did wrong, and instead in this we'd be here all day listing the charges. We're just not going to bother. But be assured there's lots of them. Yes.
And we have Kate Mulgrew again, Admiral Janeway now, delivering, of course, another standout trademark speech full of wonderful metaphors. The line that stood out to me here, Craig, was, "They set their compass to Starfleet."
Yeah, that was a good line. And there was a bit about Dal being the Federation. So he's genetically engineered, but his DNA is made up of 26 species. So he's the living embodiment of what the Federation represents.
Yes, I'm really glad you brought that up, because it has been super important to this plot. Dal being an augments are not allowed in Starfleet due to their genetic engineering. It gives them a inappropriate advantage over others, is essentially the situation.
Except Dal, because Janeway points out, does this guy look enhanced to you? And they're like, yeah, good point. He doesn't.
It was a fun little jab. Really, really well done. And I think that how they skirted around the issue of fast tracking their entry into the academy, but essentially allowing them to be transferred under Janeway's command as warrant officers. So not necessarily actual officers accredited, but simply...
When you make decisions for your company, you always look for the no-brainers. And if you have a lot of mailing and shipping to do, Stamps.com is the ultimate no-brainer. It streamlines your process to make your business more efficient, which makes you less busy. Mail checks, invoices, legal documents, books, and everything you need to keep your business running with Stamps.com. Seamlessly connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart if you sell online. Schedule package pickups through the dashboard and automatically see your cheapest and fastest shipping options from different carriers, with rates up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. And with the Stamps.com mobile app, you can take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are, even on the go. Make the same no-brainer decision as over 1 million other business decision makers with Stamps.com. Sign up at Stamps.com with code PROGRAM for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Like liaison officers, essentially. I don't know. Is there a precedent for this?
I'm not quite sure, but I do wonder what other cadets will think when they hear about this. It'd be one of those, I've been working really hard getting straight A's, and these kids that haven't done an exam in their life are working under Janeway? I'd love to work under Janeway.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. They actually, Janeway calls us out. The committee decided that entering Starfleet Academy and fast tracking would be unfair to the already qualified applicant list that they have. So
instead, you get to work with me, which is also unfair because every cadet probably wants to do that.
Right. Of course, special circumstances, context. How can you say no to these kids? This is what they fought for so hard. They went above and beyond to save Starfleet and the Federation.
Yeah. I guess the precedent would be on Voyager, actually, with the Maquis being given sort of field commissions.
That's true.
Some of them had never been in Starfleet before. They were just kind of forced in. So maybe it wouldn't seem like a privilege to some of them, but it's similar.
All right, and now I'm going to hit you with this controversial factoid. What about Captain Pike giving Kirk the first officer position, even though he was barely a cadet?
Well, that's not really worth analysing because I don't think the people that wrote that really thought about it.
I don't think we have an extra 20 minutes to argue about that whole movie.
Yeah. Just don't mention Into Darkness in my presence. It's triggering. It's just trigger warning. Into Darkness will be discussed.
Oh man, we do have a sad moment. There are 6 members of this crew, and only 5 of them are being allowed this opportunity. Craig, what is your thought on Gwendala not being permitted to join them?
I think it kind of made sense because it seemed like the only reason that she's not being permitted is because she is the best. That she's the best person for the job of maybe putting things right or doing things right where the Vulcan's concerned, because she gets to go and essentially, I guess, be the Federation representative. She gets to go and make first contact with them and be their representative and, like I said, put things right, because it's clear that things went horribly wrong in this alternate future, and now they have a chance to put it right. And there's a bit of a loophole there, as in, well, Gwyn is one of them, so therefore the non-interference thing might not apply. The scene wasn't hugely clear on whether Gwyn had been consulted on that plan or whether she decided to do it by herself. It could be read either way, but I think it was maybe someone had a quiet word with her after the hearing to say, right, here's what we want you to do.
Yeah. I kind of got the same impression. It does feel like we could have used an extra scene with Janeway and Gwyn discussing this to really make it satisfactory, in my opinion.
Yeah. The one question now I have about Dal. So Dal gets in even though he's an augment, and there was that bit where one of the people on the hearing board said the word augment with clear disgust in his voice. There was proper prejudice there, and they don't explore it, but it's something I would love to see explored at some point. But the fact that Dal gets in, right? We know that Sivan didn't get in because she used to be a Borg. Mm-hmm. And we know that Janeway argued her corner and threatened to resign over it and all this and didn't get her way. So why is this different? And what changed? Like, why did they let Dal in but not Seven? And the only thing I can do to resolve that in my head is when they wrote that line on Picard, no one really thought about the ins and outs of it. Whereas here, they actually made a case for Dal joining, and it made sense because you could make that same case for Seven. She was an invaluable member of Voyager's crew. The expertise she provided helped increase technology. She knows a lot about Borg stuff. That's really useful. You probably want that in Starfleet. And someone there was like, nah. So the only thing I can think of is they didn't think about it. They just wanted it to seem really bleak for Seven without really adding anything to it, because you can imagine a similar scene.
Yes.
With Janeway doing that for Seven.
Yeah, and okay, we're not here to discuss the pitfallings of Picard.
But it's just it's impossible not to draw that comparison.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and it just, it's another feather in the cap for this show as to why it is so good. I really love the moment that Zero gives Gwen, where the Val Nakot have these titles. You have the Diviner, the Vindicator, and now Gwendala, possibly the Unifier. Which harkens back, great. Which harkens back to earlier conversation, especially in the previous episode, where Gwen was taught languages, ostensibly to divide people, but now to also unite them, right? So there is some precedent already in previous episodes, some foreshadowing that, yes, this is Gwendala's path. She will be bringing her people, the Val Nakot, together to join the Federation, maybe. I'm really excited for how her part of the story is going to continue. And you can't tell me that that's going to happen off screen next season, Greg.
No, surely not. And you've got the possibility of the Vindicator still being out there. Maybe she gets there first.
And so you think the Vindicator and Dreadnought, who conveniently did not appear on screen in this episode after their very quick escape in the previous one, you think they're heading back to the Val Nakot homeworld?
Yeah, it makes sense. It seems that they can get a head start on turning them against the Federation.
Yeah, that could be interesting. New cast of characters, I'm sure. Maybe Gwen will have her own group of friends that she connects with. We might get more Val Nakot. I'm pretty excited to see where her story is going to take her.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to end it as well. So you split the crew up in your final episode, and basically what you do is you throw out the premise of season 1 ahead of season 2, the idea of a bunch of young people on this Federation ship that they've stolen and they're flying about doing stuff. That's gone. It's gone. Season 2 is something different.
Something different. I really like it. It's good evolution. I love the final bits here. We have a nice little montage of our crew kind of enjoying what Starfleet has to offer. You've got Rock, who becomes a genobiologist. It's another Starfleet Academy member sees Rock examining the console and examining sciences, and very astutely observes Rock's affinity with Murph. And connects with Rock and says, hey, puts her hand on her back and says, hey, have you thought about being a genobiologist? And you see Rock's eyes and face light up like, oh my gosh, you're right. And I love that scene.
Yeah, the whole sequence was great. The summation that Janeway gave, she's excited about the prospect of helping the Protostar crew discover who they are, what they're capable of, improve themselves and find their place in the universe. She's really excited about leading them on that path.
Yes.
And I guess it's a slight shift in the dynamic in a way. Gwen won't be there, at least to begin with, but you do have the rest of the characters with Janeway, but not the Janeway that they had. So it's a slight change in the mixture, I suppose. Sure.
It's an adjustment, but it's a good one. I like the final scene with Dal and Gwen. They're sitting alone together, and I like Dal's mispronunciation. They're in cat boots again.
Yeah, call back to the first episode. That's Gwyn got a few phrases wrong.
Yes.
Federation standard, which is English, I guess. Phrases wrong when she was talking, and instead of cahoots, she would say cat boots. And there was another one, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. And here we have the flip where Gwyn kisses Doll and they snuggle up together. It's, it's one of those, whether it's romantic or friendly or what have you, it's really, it's heartwarming stuff.
Yeah. And they talk about her father still being out there. She gets to meet her father being 20 years younger, you would assume.
Yes. So there's some interesting opportunity there for the reconnection. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I really liked that scene. It was a callback to the one they had in the previous episode, but more a taking stock of where they are and where they've come from, but in a calmer setting than we're about to be boarded and possibly killed. It's just, can you believe we're here? Can you believe this has happened?
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it. The final scene, of course, you've got the five of them who are going to be staying behind here at Starfleet Academy and working with Janeway as Gwyn takes off. And, we are treated to a nice sequence where where it looks like a shipbuilding hangar opens and we have a new vessel, of course. The Protostar was just the prototype, and now it's a class of its own.
Yep. So they built another Protostar, and it's clearly put in place to give you the bait and switch of, all right, cool, it's going to be them on another Protostar, but with the same mix of characters, more or less. And they'll just continue on as they did. But Janeway says that she has something bigger in mind, whatever that would be.
Well, I got to tell you, as the music was swelling and Janeway says, I have a much bigger plan for us, and the cameras is pulling back on the Academy steps, I got to tell you, I was fully expecting the Voyager to appear in the skyline.
That's what I thought they were going to do. I thought the end shot was going to be revealing that they're going to be on Voyager in the next season.
Oh, they didn't do that though.
No. I wonder what's happened to Voyager. I wonder what they've done with it, because in the alternate future that Endgame created, they talk about Voyager being a museum. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's just gone back into service after it got back to the Alpha Quadrant. Who knows?
I was expecting the Voyager A or something to that effect.
Yeah. They're fond of giving everything an A now, aren't they?
I like it.
Used to just be the Enterprise, but now just any ship. The Titan's getting an A for some reason.
Oh God, really? That seems a little much.
Yeah, that's the ship in Picard for season 3 is the Titan A. It doesn't seem like Titan's that old, so
yeah, what
happened to it?
Maybe Riker got a little trigger happy when he was trying to save the Cerritos, and then we just have a panoramic view of the sky over the Academy, and that concluded Supernova Part 2.
Yeah, such a really satisfying episode. And I was actually surprised that half of it, or at least half of it, was essentially this Academy yearing thing. The action is dealt with pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's not what you would expect for a young, skewed animated show.
No, I don't know what I was fully expecting, but to be fair, I am glad they wrapped it up pretty quickly because it gave us more time to settle in to the ending of the show and the setup for season 2. And without that time, I think, like I said, not moments ago, we could have used another couple of minutes to clarify a few things. Like Gwyn, Janeway, where is Gwyn going? What exactly is she doing? She's out, a first contact type situation. We could have spent, maybe another minute or so, understanding what warrant officer under the command of Janeway really means. But these are small nitpicks, agreed. What did we miss? What did we not talk about, Greg?
Let me see. I'm just looking at my notes. I have a note about when they were getting ejected from the Protostar, they all do that hand-holding thing, which reminded me of Toy Story 3, actually.
Oh, interesting. You're right.
Even though they weren't about to die, but at the same time, it just seemed to be this, solidarity. We're all just going to, support each other in this moment.
Yeah, it's still good. It's a good connection. And trying to remember that the show skews towards a younger audience. Younger audiences and adults too. It's okay. You hold hands to show that you are together and with each other. So it's a visual representation of their being a family, of their being together.
Yeah, it was really good. They've done a really good job of establishing the relationship between the characters. And I think the whole season has been more focused on Gwen and Dal than it has been anybody else, which is probably a deliberate choice. But so it means that, for example, you don't know an awful lot about Jankum Pog. He's a bit of a comic relief-ish character. There has been elements of depth there, but for the most part, he's just the one that makes you laugh in a moment and things like that. But yeah, lacking that scene where you see Janeway talk to Gwen about, we want you to go put the best foot forward with your people before everything goes wrong. That I see why they didn't do that, because it means that there's the reveal, but there's 6 of us. How is only 5 of us? And at first I thought, does Murph count? Because, how sentient is Murph? Because he's a worm or something, isn't he? That's what he's
like a slime worm of some kind. That's another thing, small nitpick is that we didn't really get any decent, meaty closure on who and or what Murph actually is. We've discussed it before. I think, Ian and I, we talked about how you have D. Bradley Baker in this role, and all he's doing is making noises.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool, but he's a great voice actor and all he's doing is making noises. So what evolution, we all thought we were getting that.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Evolution, but then it kind of like a bait and switch a little bit. So season 2, I presume, maybe one of the storylines we're going to get is exploring who and what Murph is. Same with Jank and Pog. I feel like season 2 is going to give us more of that depth, more of that exploration between who he is as a Tellarite, his ability as an engineer. We got, they gave us a really, really quick small taste where he's in an engineering class and all of his classmates and instructor, looks like he's going to blow the thing up, but then he does this really adept maneuver and very coolly, completes the assignment, and everyone's like, oh yeah, you did it, and they're like little golf claps. So it shows evolution of his character, shows that he is capable of these fine motor skills that an engineer needs to have. He's not just bashing everything over the head with a hammer.
Yeah, capable of finesse.
Yeah. And then you've got
Zero with their snazzy new suit.
Yeah. I love that new suit look. It's very clean. It's very Starfleet. I am also looking forward to seeing where Zero's story goes with this, because we don't have a lot of Medusans in the series as a whole, not just Prodigy, but in the franchise as a whole.
Just one before this one, yeah.
Exactly. So we get a little bit more of what the Medusans are all about. And I think it's really cool the way that the showrunners have brought in this type of benevolent, seemingly omnipotent being that back in the 60s was just, a beam of light represented by beauty. And now we have some real meat to this story.
Yeah, it's really good. With next season, I'm wondering what they're going to start with. So Janeway is in command of these guys, but I wonder if she's going to act a bit like the hologram, as in helping them along, but essentially Dal will still be in command and Janeway will be there offering advice and guidance and whatever, or whether they'll just be her crew. I think it would be more interesting if she just stands back and lets them do stuff.
Yeah, that would be interesting, but that certainly doesn't toe the line of what Starfleet's all about.
No, but it's apparently she gets the assignment of her choosing. You get to be warrant officers under my command, and I get to pick the ship. Does Starfleet just want rid of her? Do they just want her to be out of the way? I wonder. It's just, go over here and do this. We got to deal with this.
Much like Picard, I feel like, most of Starfleet brass, when it comes to these hero captains, they're just like, just let them do whatever they want. They throw their hands up. They're like, give them a ship. Let them do it. We'll give them orders, but they're going to break them anyway.
So one thought I've got is maybe the second season will be 3 independent plots. So you might have Gwen going to her home world and whatever that entails, Janeway and the others on the whatever ship it is, possibly Voyager, just training essentially. And then you might have another ship that's going through the rift. I know Janeway says she wanted to be on that mission, but I feel like that won't all come together at once, because I think they'll maybe want to start the season with a couple of individual episodic things of them just doing stuff. Plus, it seems like you can either resolve that really quickly or you can leave it till the end of the season. But either way, it's probably not strong enough to sustain 20 episodes of content, assuming they're making 20 episodes.
That's true. Well, Gwyn mentioned that she had the general vicinity of where she thought her homeworld was. So they still need to find it.
Yeah, I thought she knew where it was, though. I mean, it's not quite clear, but she says she got it from the holo program that the diviner put her in.
Right.
So she knows
she was able to cross-reference, I think, some star charts is what she said, and kind of found its location from there. But yeah, you're right. It's a little unclear as to whether it's the exact location or like the general, system that it's in.
Yeah. But like in The Force Awakens, we need that last piece of that map or something like that.
Yeah,
let's not go down that route. But yeah.
Geez. Oh, man. You're trying to ruin my morning, Craig.
Sorry. Well, you brought up Into Darkness, so that's my revenge.
Oh, man. No, what a great closeout. Very satisfying, very clean. No ridiculous cliffhanger at the very end, that we're all at the edge of our seat for. And then we come back a year later and it's resolved in a matter of seconds. It's impactful. Season 1, Star Trek Prodigy. I am giving this a solid 8 out of 10 on the triple scale as a whole. Loved it. Very strong. Possibly the best season 1 of all the Trek shows.
Yeah. I want season 2 right now. I want it as soon as possible.
Same. Do you think that this is kind of a challenge to the productions of the live action Trek shows?
I don't think that this has the same level of priority that the live action stuff does. So I don't know that it's really being scrutinized in the same way. I don't know that they're definitely not fronting it as prestige television in the way that they are the other Trek shows. It's, here's the silly kids one or whatever. Well, we don't think that, but I imagine on an executive level, that's what they're thinking. So imagine the writers of Picard and Strange New Worlds and Discovery aren't paying much attention to what's going on here. And there seems to be evidence that they're not paying attention to what's going on here, or maybe the Prodigy writers aren't paying attention to what they're doing here, because I already mentioned the similarities in the Seven Dal getting in, not getting into Starfleet thing. And that seems like that's something that you want to have joined up, but they don't. So I don't know.
That's fair.
I mean, from my point of view, it's a challenge to them. It's a challenge to these live action writers to do better, because it's possible. And they've just proven it with far fewer resources, really.
Well, what's interesting is that this show is a genuinely brand new idea. It's not derivative of other Trek shows. It's not a legendary captain returning to the screen after 30 odd years and let's see how he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not pulling from lore and previously established canon and trying to flip the script. It's not trying to subvert expectations. It's telling its own story, which is really quite well honed on every level.
Yeah, and they did their legendary captain coming back after a number of years in this show as well, but
they did.
It wasn't focus of it. It wasn't what the show was about. Exactly.
So you had it connecting the things that we all know and love, but it's doing its own thing. And in my opinion, yes, it's absolutely a challenge to these live action shows to kind of think about that and think about what they are doing critically, not just ram through a story because you have $10 million per episode. It's make something good. Just focus on the story first.
Yeah, because it's command of nostalgia, and it's had a lot of nostalgia in this show.
It really did.
But it hasn't. I haven't felt annoyed by it in the way that I feel in other ways. And this isn't just exclusive to Star Trek; it's everywhere. It
is.
In Star Wars, it's in Marvel, it's in whatever. It's the pointing at something and saying, "Remember this thing? You like this thing, and we've done this thing again, so therefore you'll like this." No, because you're not doing anything new with it, so therefore I hate it.
Yeah, I'm super excited for season 2. I want it now. I want it yesterday. Yeah. I would like the screeners in my inbox. P.S. Yes, I'm still on that list, Craig. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Okay. So shall we? Oh man, I'm a little bummed that we're not going to be coming back next week to discuss more Prodigy. But tell us,
we
Craig,
don't know when we're going to get more as well. They haven't said when roughly it'll be.
That's true. It's probably still, they're still working out production details. But yeah, Craig, do you want to take us out? Tell us where we can find you.
Sure. So you can find me mostly on Neil Before Blog. So that's neilbeforeblog.co.uk, or Facebook and Twitter. You can type it in and it'll come up, and there'll be links to everything that we're doing. I've been reviewing Prodigy, which by the time this comes out will no longer be true because I'll have reviewed it. It will be past tense. I'll have done it. But there'll be an alternate timeline where I'm reviewing season 2, which is what I'm really jealous of. The version of me that's doing season 2 at the moment. Really hate that guy. But that's there. I'm reviewing films as well. My review of Avatar, The Way of Water will be there by the time that this comes out, I hope, unless it takes me 2 weeks to write it, which would be ridiculous. There's an attached podcast, Neil Before Pod. If you put it into any podcatcher, you'll find that as well. And the latest thing that we did prior to recording this episode was the Christmas special, which is still relevant at this time of the year, I guess.
Yeah.
But we tried to come up with the outline of our own Christmas movie, and the end result was pretty hilarious. So please do check that out. And personally on Twitter, I am under Nemesis4909, which didn't start life as a Star Trek reference, was originally a Resident Evil reference, and then later became a Star Trek reference at the same time. So that's me. That's where I'm found. That's
you. That's where you're coming from. Definitely recommend everybody check out neilbeforeblog.co.uk. Craig's got a ton of great stuff on there. This was awesome. My name is Mike Slamer. We are part of We Are Starfleet. That's the podcast you're currently listening to, and it's on the We Made This Network, which can be found at wemadethisnetwork.com, a collection of podcasts and writings and essays, all on TV, film, pop culture, music. If it's a creative endeavor, odds are we are talking about it somewhere on wemadethisnetwork.com. You can also find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Starfleet Pod. Twitter for as long as it lasts. I have a hard time logging in. I don't know about you, Craig, but I know you don't really use Twitter outside of just posting, updates. And I'm kind of starting to get that way too. But, the algorithm is really junky. I try to look for people that I'm familiar with, and they're either no longer there, they're not showing up, they're not in the search. It's just, man, it's really gone downhill.
Yeah, the living construct is really messing with it. I wonder if that's what we should just call He Should Not Be Named from now on.
The living construct.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've seen some people calling them like Noli, just saying it backwards. It's pretty funny too. It's kind of a shame how
yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if he's some kind of, head in a jar or whatever.
This timeline is getting real weird, Craig. It's not what I expected. But thank you all for joining us on this coverage of Star Trek Prodigy. Thank you all to listeners, subscribers. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you've liked the expansion of our coverage into the animated series. Stay tuned for more. I know Star Trek Discovery Season 5, they've been talking about how it's going to, they've wrapped production. Now we're in the post-production phase. We're going to start seeing more teasers. We're going to start seeing more trailers. We're going to start getting more tidbits of information. And as those things come to fruition, stay subscribed, stay following, because we will be talking about them for better or for worse. We can only hope 5 seasons in that it continues to evolve, it continues to get better, and the stories continue to improve. Also, stay tuned, because season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds will also continue here on this podcast. And dare I say, whatever else CBS and Paramount want to throw at us in terms of Star Trek related things. But you can also follow the Picard coverage over at the Make It So podcast. Again, part of the We Made This network.
Yeah, we don't get to cover Picard.
We don't, and that's probably a good thing. But, okay, I'll bite my tongue. I like the show. I don't love it. I like it. But you can definitely get me talking about it for hours on end. Folks, thank you again for joining. This is Mike and Craig signing off. Live long and prosper.
Welcome to the third age of podcasting.
The name of the podcast
is A Dream Given Form,
a show about J. Michael Straczynski's Babylon 5
for the We Made This podcast network.
Join us in 2022 as we look back at themes and ideas from across the show's history.
Today we're going to be discussing the 3 prominent leaders of Babylon 5, Sinclair, Sheridan and Delenn.
Everything from Earth and the Shadows and Mimbai all the way through from early days of season 1 all the way through to the Interstellar Alliance, and it's their legacy. Interstellar Alliance is really the legacy of these 3 characters. We are kind of going to potentially some scary territory here, looking at the parallels between Earth Force and Babylon 5 and the real world in which we live in now.
It is a really insidious way of doing things, and the more I think about it and the more I watch that scene and the way that Pierce speaks and talks about it, it really just fills me with chills, because, our politicians do this all the time. They talk like this all the time, and they hide their true intention behind false promises. Current situation with the potential reboot of Babylon 5 for the CW network.
He's been involved in comic writing, he's been for Spider-Man, he's done shows like Sense8, which is very progressive as well. He's going to bring all that experience into the project, so I think it's going to be a very different show, and even some special guests too. Lita herself, Patricia Tallman.
I love hearing that people are still interested in Babylon 5, and it's really an honor to continue the conversation around a show that meant so much to us, and it was the little show that could.
Yeah. And then in 2023, join us for the 30th anniversary of Babylon 5 as we start fortnightly lookbacks at The Gathering season 1 and beyond.
So join us for A Dream Given Form,
our last best hope for peace.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.